You know, there was a season of my life when things were not going so well. Our kids were running from God, and the Lord put on my heart to leave a job that I loved. But He had something else for me, and I didn't know what that was. Well, my mom came over, and I was sharing my pain and my frustration and my disappointment with her. And I'll never forget the question she asked me. She said, "Will you follow God even if your kids don't?" Wow, that really caused me to pause. Of course, we both wanted to see the kids follow Christ, but even if they didn't, would I remain faithful to follow Him? This was truly a test of my own faithfulness, and I would need lots of faith to get me through. You see, faith is essentially a question of confidence and trust when we can't see the road ahead of us. I love the story of Daniel's three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These young adult men were facing one of the biggest tests of their faith. This wicked King Nebuchadnezzar required everyone to bow down to a huge statue he'd made of himself, and if you didn't, well, there was a big price to pay. You would be thrown into a fiery furnace. This was no joke. Their very lives were at stake if they refused to bow. What a test. Would they put their faith, their confidence, their trust in God? Well, look at their response in Daniel 3, verses 17 and 18. They said this, "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and He will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if He does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." Wow, did you catch it? They stood up to the king, refusing and declaring that their God was in fact able to deliver them from the fiery furnace, and that they would only worship the true God and no other. Now that is faith. They were putting complete trust and confidence in God. But did you catch what they said? Theirs was a no matter what kind of faith. Their faith said, God is able, but even if He doesn't, even if He chooses another way, even if we die, we will not bow down to any other God but Him. You know, here's something I've learned along the way in this journey of growing in faith. Faith changes not what we go through, but how we go through it. You see, we're not promised that we'll escape every trouble in this life. In fact, Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world." See, God uses our troubles to grow our faith and trust in Him alone, no matter what. Maybe you're there right now. You need faith to get through a tough time, a heartache, an illness, maybe a loss of relationship or a job, even loss of life itself. These things can turn us toward God if we choose, but we are encouraged to draw near to God in trouble in faith. Hebrews 10:22 says, "Let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and with the full assurance that faith brings." See, faith enables us to draw near to God in troubles. Faith brings us assurance in the midst of our troubles. It essentially says that we will trust Him no matter what. Just like the three Hebrew young men chose to put their faith in God, He promised to be with us in their trouble. He promises to be with us in our trouble if we need to keep our focus on Him, no matter the outcome. See, I find this to be an anchor for me when I go through trouble. True faith focuses on the giver of our faith, not on the outcome of our faith. So, back to my mom's question. Will you follow God even if your kids don't? Well, the answer is a resounding yes, no matter what. I will not bow down to any other God. I will continue to follow Him faithfully, no matter what. I believe that one of the ways God answered our prayer was that our kids saw a no matter what kind of faith from my husband and I. We watched God move in the lives of our kids and in our family over those years, and He drew our kids back to Himself, and He opened new doors for ministry. And the best thing of all, He grew our faith. You see, when you have a no matter what kind of faith, you know it's truly worth it to trust Him. What about you? Will you have a no matter what kind of faith? Will you put your confidence and trust in God? He's with you. Resolve today that you will be faithful to follow Him no matter what, and you too will see that faith will bring you through. That's courageous living.